Hey, this is MalaMaker, and today I want to take you behind the scenes in building the Beetlejuice arrow sign, a prop replica from the 1980s Beetlejuice movie. Now, the drawings for this build will be available on m86props.com. Now, a majority of this build will be made out of the 5.2 millimeter Luan board that you can find at the hardware store. This is typically the board that you would use under like a linoleum floor. These pieces were cut out on a CNC router, but you can also hand cut these. Most of the pieces are square. The only exception to that will be the actual arrow pieces that come off of the main part of the sign itself. I was a little space constrained in this build because I was also building the strip club from the movie that was 15 foot wide, 12 foot tall, and about 4.5 feet deep. I'm using crown staples to attach all the pieces together, and then using liquid nails heavy duty to glue all the seams. Some of the seams I'm gluing after the fact, other seams I'm gluing ahead of it, and then squishing the liquid nails between the joint itself, and then using my finger to clean up any excess that presses out. Now, the back panel of the sign is 1/2-inch plywood. I figured there was a need for at least a heavier duty piece of wood in this, because this will be mounted in the air using 3-inch PVC pipe, and that heavier duty board is what it'll actually attach to. That hole in the bottom is a little oblong to be able to handle the pipe coming in at a slight angle. Now, next is the arrow part of the sign, which this is probably going to be the most difficult part of this build. I labeled the pieces in a way that I always worked clockwise from the inside of the arrow. I just had to pay attention to make sure that the pieces that overlapped in the right area. Otherwise, there might be some pieces that didn't fit. Now, installing the acrylic part of this piece wasn't necessary at this point. There are 2 slots on that back panel that allow you to slide that acrylic in and out of the sign as long as the bulbs are not installed. Now, again, I'm gluing each seam to make sure that the pieces of the arrow are secure, since this is the most vulnerable part of the sign. Once the liquid nails hardens, this will not be an issue. Once this part of the arrow was done, then I had to work on supporting the arrow itself from behind to make sure it was solid. Otherwise, you just have a 5.2 millimeter piece of Luan really supporting the arrow, and it will break off if you're not careful. So by adding 1x4 to the back of this, I was able to secure this piece to the main part of the sign. Now it's make sure that everything's glued up, let the glue settle and dry and harden, and then it's fill the holes, sand it, and paint it, and get the bulbs installed along with all the electronics. Stay tuned for the next videos of installing the electronics and see the final piece in action. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. The Beetlejuice prop builds have definitely been my most favorite build to date. Thanks for watching, and happy making.